Jai Shri Radha. We are going to read from the book Vrindavan Mahimaamrit, which means the Glories of Vrindavan, authored by Srila Prabodhanand Saraswati. We have read the story of Srila Prabodhanand meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kashi, Banaras, Varanasi, and how he was an Advaiti, and later on when he met Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his eyes were opened and the seeds of bhakti, devotion were sowed into him, and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then later inspired him to go to Vrindavan, where he spent his rest of his life in Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, he prayed to Radha Krishna fervently, and he would be drinking the water of Yamuna and rolling in the dust of Vrindavan. And out of deep love and devotion, he would write the glories of Vrindavan. All those glories he has written in around 1700 shlokas. Those 1700 shlokas became this book called Vrindavan Mahimaamrit. It has close to 17 chapters, and all the 17 chapters, every chapter has around 100 shlokas. So we are going to read this book, a very beautiful book for all the lovers of Shri Krishna. Obviously, Vrindavan, if you have seen Vrindavan, it never leaves your heart. And if you have not seen Vrindavan, it still does not leave your mind, because those who love Krishna want to go to Vrindavan. So, even though wherever you are, if you remember Vrindavan, Vrindavan remembers you. How do I say that? Because it comes in Vrindavan Mahimaamrit. I live very far off. I get a chance to go yearly to Vrindavan. But even if I live far off, yet Vrindavan Mahimaamrit, the shlokas of this book, always help me connect. The feelings in this book, in every shloka, help me connect. I live in America, but I never feel I am away from Vrindavan because of two main books. One is Vrindavan Mahimaamrit and the other one is Radha Rasudhanidhi. Oh, also when we are constantly thinking of Srimati Radharani, what else is there left? But we will try to understand this book, get into the feelings, and with the feelings, wherever we are, in whichever corner of the world we are in, let us take our minds to Vrindavan. First, let us pray to Radharani. Radha sadhyam sadhanam yasya Radha, mantro Radha mantradatri cha Radha, sarvam Radha jivanam yasya Radha, Radha Radha vachi tasya kim sesham. This says there is nothing left to achieve in the world for that person who is constantly chanting the name of Radha, Radha, Radha. There is nothing left for that person who has given his life to Srimati Radha. There is nothing left. He has achieved everything. That person, that soul, lucky soul, whose sadhana, whose spiritual practice is Radha, whose goal of life is Srimati Radha. And he says, Mantro Radha, Mantra Datri cha Radha. Radha is the mantra. And the giver of this mantra, Radha. So a person who is constantly chanting Radha, 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 and whose treasure of life is Srimati Radha, there is nothing else left for that person to achieve. He is the luckiest soul in this world. With this feeling, we bow down at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And now we delve into the subject of Shri Vrindavan Mahimaamrit, Glories of Vrindavan, and we are reading from the Pratham Shatakam. Pratham Shatakam means the first chapter Shatakam means 100 verses. So the first chapter of 100 verses, or the first chapter of 100 shlokas. As I told you, this book has 17 chapters, 1700 shlokas, and I'm praying at the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, Radha Krishna, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all the Rasik devotees of Vrindavan to give me that strength, that special ability to be able to convey the feelings that are in these verses properly. First shloka. Shri Radha Murli Manohar Padambojam Sada Bhavyan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Padarajah Swatmanemevarpayan Srimad Bhagavatottaman Gunanidhi Nityadaradananam Shri Vrindavan Divya Vaibhavaham Stotum Muda Prarabhe. He says, I am happily trying to praise the transcendental opulences of Shri Vrindavan. I first prostrate at the lotus feet of Shri Radha Murli Manohar. I meditate on their lotus feet of Srimati Radha and Shri Murli Manohar. When I say Murli Manohar, Radha, everybody knows Srimati Radha. Murli Manohar, Manohar means somebody who is very enchanting, who is captivating your mind. And Murli, and he is holding the flute. So we meditate on that lotus form of Sri Radha and Krishna, the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna here he is holding a flute and he is stealing the minds of everybody. So we meditate on the beautiful form of Radha Murli Manohar. And what else? I place myself at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Padrajaha, and I place myself at the dust of the lotus feet of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I offer my Atma, my soul, at his lotus feet. Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavatottaman Gunanidhir. I also pray down at the lotus feet of all the great devotees of the Lord. All the great devotees, all the Rasik saints of Vrindavan. I pray at the lotus feet of all these great devotees who are treasure house of good qualities, who possess all these transcendental virtues. I surrender myself at all these devotees' feet. So I surrender myself at Sri Radha Murli Manohar. I surrender myself at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. I surrender myself at dust of all the devotees. And I pray to them to give that special blessing. Now he says, not just one time I'm prostrating, not just one time I'm giving obeisances, I bow down again and again. And after bowing down to them, I am now happily beginning to praise the transcendental opulences of Shri Vrindavan. The next shloka he says, the feeling that he is sharing, right now I'm feeling it, because I myself am, when I'm speaking, I feel helpless sometimes. How am I going to bring that? First of all, Prabodhanand writing such beautiful Sanskrit, and then to translate it into English, to bring that feeling, it's going to be very difficult. And to talk about Vrindavan, Prabodhanand says, Isho api yasya mahimamritam varirashe param prayatum manalam batatatra ke anye किंतु अल्पम अपि अहमति प्रणयाद विघाय श्याम धन्य धन्य इति मे समो प्रमोयम. Oh, he says, this Vrindavan, the glories of Vrindavan are like an ocean. Listen to the word ocean. Now visualize the ocean. Can you visualize it? Ocean with so many waves, so wide and so deep. Can you fathom? Can you measure the ocean? From your vision, whatever you can see, limited vision, you can see only one part of the ocean, but the ocean is spread all over the globe. If somebody tries to glorify an ocean, how will he? If I have to draw an ocean on a piece of paper, how will I? I can only draw, but that piece of paper will only show a picture, but it cannot actually show what an ocean is unless you go and take a dive, take a dip inside the ocean. And ocean also, when you see it from outside, it is just waves, but deep down, if you do scuba diving, you know what it is. Oh, there's another world. He says, there is no word, okay? So we are trying to compare it with the ocean. He says, oh, the glories of Vrindavan are like the ocean. Because that's the biggest thing I'm able to imagine. And he says, they are so big, even people who are Ishwar Koti, who are in the highest category, like Brahma or Devatas, they are Ishwar Koti. Even those people, even if they want to write, or even the creator who created the world, if he wants to write the glories of Vrindavan, he will not be able to finish it. He will be defeated. He will give up. He says, so people of that category, when they are not able to glorify Vrindavan, which is like an ocean, I am still trying. I am still trying to just take a dip into that ocean. Ocean of rasa, ocean of pleasure. Because I love Vrindavan. I agree, I am not very strong enough. I agree, I have very less brains, very less vocabularies. I have no talent in me. But I love Vrindavan. And that's why I'm trying to take a dip in that ocean of glories of Vrindavan called Vrindavan Mahimaamrita. And I pray that may this endeavor become successful and bring an auspicious result. The feelings that Prabodhanand Saraswati is sharing, I am sharing the same feeling with all of you. This is how I feel. Yathamati, however little brains I have and whatever little I can explain, I am trying to explain. And I am just praying at the lotus feet of Radha Krishna residing in your hearts, that may they empower me, that I be able to bring out these feelings rightly. He says, what is Vrindavan? Srimad Vindatavi Mama Hridi Sphoryatma Swarupam Atyascharya Prakriti Paramananda Vidyarahasyam Purna Brahmamritam Api Hiyava Abhidatum Naneti Bruyu Yatropanishad Iha Tratya Varta Kutastya. He says, O Vrindavatavi, O Shri Vrindavan, O the forest of Vrindavan, Mama Hridi Sphoryatma Swarupam, oh, please reveal in my heart your wonderful form, full of transcendental pastimes. O Vrindavan, O the forest of Vrindavan, how are you? Ati Ascharyam. You are most wonderful, spectacular. You are Prakriti. You are the most wonderful, spectacular nature. Prakriti, and not only nature, you give Paramanand, you give all bliss, all happiness. People are looking for Anand, happiness. Where do you find Anand? Where do you find happiness? Oh, the supreme, the highest happiness. He says, oh forest of Vrindavan, you are the one who can give. And not only that, you are the form of Vidya Rahasyam. You are the most confidential. You have the most confidential spiritual knowledge. Now, what is it? Most confidential spiritual knowledge? I'm telling you. It comes in only two words. Ra. Now you know what I'm going to say. Ra. Dha. Yeah. So you will say Radha. Oh, this is the confidential spiritual knowledge, but everybody knows Radha. Oh, if you know Radha, then you must know the love of Krishna. You must know the love of Vrindavan. Just by merely chanting and saying, oh, I know Radha. No, you don't know Radha. If you take the name of Radha, do you feel the chills? Do you feel the vibration coursing through you? When you think of Radha, Radharani, Srimati Radharani is an embodiment of love, personification of love. When you think of Srimati Radharani, where is she? Do you think she's always roaming in the groves of Vrindavan? Is that picture coming in your eyes? Where is Radharani? In the groves of Vrindavan. When you think of Vrindavan, oh, this Vrindavan is flooded with the love of Srimati Radharani. And where is the flood flowing? Oh, you see Yamuna ji. She is Rasrani. Radharani, Rasrani. When I just took the name of Radha, are you able to see Yamuna ji? Full Yamuna ji means when you see the Yamuna river, it is the couple's love flowing. When I take the name Radha, can you see her walking in Vrindavan? And when she's walking barefoot. And when she's keeping her very soft feet on the dust of Vrindavan, are you able to feel it? That dust is called Rajrani. And not only Radharani is walking on that dust. There are so many Sakhis, so many friends of Radharani who are following with her. So many gopis who are going with her. And not only that, when she is keeping her feet, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, at whose feet everybody is going down, we pray to him. Kripiya tava pada pankaj siddhuli sadrisham vichintaye. Oh my Lord, please consider me as the speck of dust at your lotus feet. That Shri Krishna is following Radharani in Vrindavan, and wherever she is keeping her feet, that dust, he takes it and is sprinkling on himself. Oh, this is the love of Vrindavan. And this is the most secret mystery. This is the most secret knowledge, the spiritual knowledge of Vrindavan. It is just in these two words, these two letters, Ra and Dha. I just said Radha, and just see from Radha how many things just came out. Did you feel the love flowing? Did you see Sri Krishna? If you love Sri Krishna, Vrindavan is the land of love. If you love Sri Krishna, you will see Krishna rolling at the feet of Srimati Radharani, and all these loving exchanges, transcendental pastimes happening in Vrindavan. When we read these glories of Vrindavan, this transcendental pastimes will come. The purpose of me reading is to bring out this transcendental pastimes. There are two books. written by, there are 2-3 books actually, but 2 of the books which is my favorite, one is Vrindavan Mahimaamrit and Radha Rasopasana. Both are written by Srila Prabodhanand Saraswati, and you will see what beautiful pastimes he brings out. And he's saying that I love Vrindavan and now I will dip in the ocean, and for us he has written it all. We will also dip in the ocean of the glories of Vrindavan. So he says, "O Vrindavan, please reveal in my heart your wonderful transcendental pastimes." And he says, if somebody is meditating, they get Brahmanand, the bliss of, Brahman realization. And the Vedas are trying to explain that Brahman realization. And Vedas use the word neti, neti. Neti, neti means not this, not this. So somebody, has gotten into samadhi and he's realizing, and he's gone into that Brahmajyoti realization. He's full of bliss. He's in the nirvana stage. He's full of bliss. And the Vedas are trying to explain his stage of bliss, but they are helpless. That stage of bliss, when the Vedas are not able to describe, then who on earth can describe the bliss of the transcendental pastimes of Vrindavan? It's impossible. Shri Krishna sitting with Radharani, and they're holding hand in hand and they're going around, their cheeks to cheeks touching. It is very difficult for even Vedas to understand what the Supreme Personality of Godhead is doing. Falling at the lotus feet of Radharani, many people will not be able to gulp it down. But Srila Prabodhanand Saraswati, that's why I am taking his name, he was an Advaiti. He challenged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his 10,000 disciples. And this Prabodhanand Saraswati, not an ordinary figure, he, being blessed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, goes to Vrindavan and rolls down in the dust and writes Vrindavan Mahimaamrit and brings out those beautiful glories in Radha Sudhanidhi, and those pastimes we are going to meditate upon. Along with this, it's very difficult to describe the glories of Vrindavan. Yet, whatever we have, I will take one pada from a book called Bayalis Leela. Now, I will mention about Bayalis Leela. This book is written by Saint Dhruv Das and from Radha Vallabh sect. He says he's from Radha Vallabh sect, and the guru of Radha Vallabh sect is Sri Harivanshi. Harivanshi has written also many padas. All these padas, the Rasik saints of Vrindavan, there are many Rasik saints. Okay, Vrindavan is an ocean of saints, and they're all Rasik saints. They all love Radha Krishna in different ways, and they have expressed it in their poetries. So I am reciting those poetries because they are written in very simple language and they bring out the feeling very easily. He says, now I am reciting this verse from Bayalis Leela, a book called Bayalis Leela. Bayalis Leela means 42 transcendental pastimes. In future, if the saints bless me, I will translate them into English. I have it all in Hindi, but I will try to translate in English as in future. You'll see. He says, Sant Dhruv Das says, Vrindavan Satkaran ko कीनो मन उत्साह नवल राधिका कृपा बिनु कैसे होत निर्वाह यह आशा धरि चित्त में कहत जथामति मोर वृंदावन सुख रंग को काहू न पाओ. He says, I'm trying to write 100 verses on Vrindavan. It is very difficult to write because how can you write? But yes, it is possible if Shri Radharani blesses us. So with the strength that I derived from Radharani, I am attempting to write this 100 verses on Vrindavan. He says, it is very difficult to describe the pastimes of Vrindavan. Why? Because these pastimes are happening in his Nij Bhavan, in his private residence, Shri Krishna's private residence. It's like somebody has like we have our house, right? So from office we come to our house, and in our house we have our own private family area where we sit. That is a family's matter. So those pastimes where Radha Krishna are sometimes enjoying alone, how do you describe those pastimes unless you get an entry there? But he says, if Radharani is merciful on you, if you become her maid servant, if you become her sakhi, if you become her attendant, then of course you will get a chance, you will get an entry pass, and then you will be able to describe. So he says, Durlabha Durgata Sabnite, it is very durlabh, it is very difficult. Vrindavan Nij Bhavan, because this Vrindavan is her own private residences. Yet, Naval Radhika Kripa Binu, Kahi Dhav Pave Kaun, but without Radharani's mercy, how are we going to achieve this? He says, Sabbe Ang Gunihino, Tako Jatan Na Koi, Ek Kisori Kripate, Jo Kuch Hoi So Hoi. He says, I don't have any talent. I have nothing with me. I know I have no qualities. I'm disqualified completely. None of my limbs can praise or talk or glorify Vrindavan. But yet, by the grace of Radharani alone, this impossible thing can happen. So he says, Soi Kripati Sugam Nahi. Then how do I get this mercy of Radharani? How do I get? So Dhruvadas remembers his guru, Shri Harivansh Charan Saran Harivansh ki Sahaji Baniyo Banao. He says, when I go at the lotus feet of Shri Harivansh Ji, with the grace of my guru and the grace of the Rasik saints of Vrindavan, this grace of Radharani will come to me. So he's teaching us, go at the lotus feet of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, go at the lotus feet of Shri Harivansh Ji, go at the lotus feet of all the Rasik saints of Vrindavan. And he says, if the saints, if Harivansh Ji is very happy, he says, wow, what is the process? Harivansh charan urdharani dhari manavach ke vishwas kuvari kripa vai tabahi aru Vrindavan vas. He says, meditate on the holy feet of Shri Harivansh Ji in your heart. And once you receive the blessing from Shri Harivansh Ji, Radharani's blessings will flow. So the way he is meditating on his Guru Harivansh Ji, those who are followers of other gurus, other sampradayas, there are 4 Vaishnava sampradayas, and we should not discriminate between them. That is not the quality of a Vaishnava. See all of them as together. My effort is to bring the rasa of Vrindavan. I do not see any difference in any of the sampradayas. So whoever is your Guru, whatever sampradaya you are following, remember your Guru. Guru's lotus feet. If you remember your Guru's lotus feet, and if you pray down at the lotus feet of all the Rasik saints of Vrindavan, Radharani's mercy will flow into you. Priya charan bali jaan ke baadyo hiye ullas teyur mein aani hai Vrinda vipin prakash. He says, if Radharani is blessing you, you will definitely get to stay in Vrindavan. And even if you are not staying in Vrindavan, whichever corner of the world you are, the glories of Vrindavan will come into your heart. That light will come into your heart. And he again prays, Kuvari Kisori Ladili Karunanidhi Sukuvari Barano Vrinda Vipiniko Tinke Charan Samhari. He says, I bow down at the lotus feet of my beautiful Radharani, who is the treasure of compassion. She is very graceful. She is very merciful. I bow down at the lotus feet of Kuvari Shri Radhika, and with her blessings, I am trying to glorify Vrindavan. Tinke charan samhar. I am holding the lotus feet of Radharani. So with this, I will read one last shloka from Vrindavan Mahimaamrit, and with that we will end it up. And because there are 1700 shlokas, so this series is going to go into many videos. Today we will finish 4. Slowly we will go to all the pastimes by their blessings, by Radharani's blessings. We hold on to Radharani's feet as taught by Dhruvadas Ji, as taught by Prabodhanand Ji, and I know for sure with Radharani's blessing we will get to relish this nectar very much. So the fourth one, last one for today, Radha Krishna Vilasapurna Suchamatkara Mahamaduri Saras Parasam Chamatkritim Hari Rasotkarshasya Kashtham Param Divyam Swadarasaikaranya Subhaga Shesham na Sheshadibihi Sheshairgamya Gunogaparanisham Sanstaumi Vrindavanam. Day and night I glorify Vrindavan, which is filled with the wonderful pastimes of Sri Radha and Shri Krishna. And this place, its sweetness is beyond anything. It is so beautiful, it is so nectarian that even Ananta means the serpent on which Sri Vishnu sleeps, or Sri Krishna, he has incarnated as Krishna's brother Balram, that is Ananta, or he is incarnated as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says even they sometimes fail to describe the glories, and this place is an ocean of nectar of Lord Hari, the most sweetest, the most auspicious, and a flood of virtues that even Ananta Shesha and Lord Shiva are not able to cross. They are drowned. But still I am trying to attempt to explain this, and he says, I bow down to this Vrindavan, day and night I glorify Vrindavan. So with this we ended up today, and there are more shlokas and more beautiful things that are going to come, and we'll see you in the next series, next episode, and some more nectar. Alright, so may Radharani, may Shri Krishna and all the Rasik Vrindavan saints bless all of you. May this ocean of love flood your heart. With that feeling, we'll meet you again. Jai Shri Radha, Jai Shri Krishna.